There is some wisdom in taking a gloomy view, in looking upon the world as a kind of hell, and in confining one's efforts to securing a little room that shall not be exposed to the fire. Arthur Schopenhauer.
Why are we here and what is this world anyway? Arthur Schopenhauer would call it a kind of hell. I know it's definitely not a paradise, despite some places here giving us that illusion, but it's not a complete biblical hell either, because there is some beauty, comfort, and joy to be found here as well, although many times that comes at someone else's expense, whether human or non-human. From what I can observe, suffering is what really matters, and everything else seems kind of vain and stupid, like we're playing some sort of games to win shiny trinkets and recognition. Also, as far as we can prove, nobody asked to be born, yet we are here anyway. Most people aren't entirely good or evil, but they have attributes of both. However, our every action is the result of preceding conditions in the brain and the environment, so is anyone actually in control, or is it more like we are watching some kind of movie unfold? Is there really anyone to blame if there is no free will? Basically, it would seem like this reality is some kind of cruel and painful joke without any clear objective higher purpose that we can determine through reliable methods like science and logic. Of course, many religious people claim to have divine knowledge as to what the real purpose of life is, but so far they haven't really provided any verifiable evidence to back up their claims. But I think this world is actually cooked, and there is no fixing things. Everything that rises eventually decays and inevitably falls. Nothing seems to be permanent and everything changes, but the more things change, the more they also stay the same. Heroes often seem to become villains, and sometimes vice versa, given enough time. So basically the question is, should you focus more on living for yourself and securing your own little room in this hell earth, or living for others to affect your environment? If you live mostly for yourself, then you are not imposing your will as much on the surrounding world. That may or may not make the world a better or worse place, depending on your character. This world is actually better suited for more simple people and also psychopaths, and it is hard on those who are intelligent and empathetic. But if there are less strong and empathetic people, then the world will also become worse for everyone else. While looking out for yourself may give you more peace, it might give you less purpose, and it could be a bit boring. I mostly keep to myself, but I recently opposed the chat control legislation in the European Union by contacting my government representatives and making posts online. This legislation wanted to scan all online communications of EU citizens to quote-unquote protect the children, and would have erased digital privacy and broken end-to-end encryption in the process. The chat control legislation was defeated this time, which was good, and it felt like I played a small role in the democratic process. But it would have probably happened without me, and this was only a temporary victory. The fight will continue in the future again. Perhaps the best option would be the golden middle road, focusing mostly on securing your own little room in this hell, and occasionally sticking your neck out for something you consider worthwhile that will also keep the fires away. But things are becoming a bit more precarious by the day. People are already getting arrested for online comments in many so-called free democracies, even if they are not threatening physical violence. Unfortunately, free speech is under attack, and we have to assess the risks and consequences before taking action, even if only verbally on the internet. Remember to like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video. Okay, thanks, bye.